Our nephew is crying.
Nat,
Madam,
did you hear a nephew cry?
I heard a baby crying.
Nat, are you sure you're not hearing voices in your head?
Not my.
Maybe it might be voices. If I'm
That thing you've been putting on your lips every night. Careful, that's smoke.
Okay, please, let's go.
Let's go on.
So for the purpose of this discussion, we're talking about three main classes of parasites: protozoans, helminths, and then ectoparasites. So parasites, what is that?
iPhone again. Hey. All right, let's continue.
Okay. So parasites are grouped based on different factors. Some of them are grouped on the basis of their size, some on the basis of where they live, whether within or outside. So we're looking at all of them. So the first scenario we are seeing here is where they reside. So on the basis of where they live, we have two types of parasites. We have the ectoparasite and then the endoparasite. The ectoparasites live on the host. So I have some examples over here: lice, ticks, and mites. Then with the endo, they live within the host. So for example, it's E. histolytica and then Taenia solium. So when it comes to endoparasites, they are further divided into two groups. We have the intercellular parasites. That means they live in between cells. Then we have the intracellular parasites. They are very microscopic, therefore they reside within the cell. Please, let's take note of the differences.
Okay.
Intracellular parasites, they live in between the cells, so body cavity. Then we have the intracellular. The parasites are so minute, therefore they are able to live within the cell, so they reproduce inside the cell. So example could be the protozoans, the viruses that we know about and then we have already seen. Okay, so on the basis of their interaction with their host, we can also say we have two types of parasites. We have the obligate parasites. For them, they rely solely on their host. So for their life cycle to be complete, they need their host. Without the host, they can't complete their life cycle. Then we also have the second group, which are the facultative. For them, if they have a host, fine, then they will exhibit their parasitic activity, but without the host, they can still survive. We also have the temporary and then the permanent parasite. The temporary ones is just like the first one we talk about, the facultative. So they exhibit an aspect of their life cycle with the host. Then the permanent one, they are with the host from their genesis to their genesis to revelation, right? So
yes,
from the beginning
to Revelation, Exodus.
So they need their host from the beginning to the end. So from the beginning to their anti-maturity and then death, they require their host to survive. Then depending on their size, as I mentioned, we have some that are so big that you can see with your naked eye. So the lice, who is that? Then we have some that are so minute that you require help using microscope. For those ones, as I said, we have the viruses, the bacteria, and so on. Now let's look at what a host is. A host is the organism which harbors the parasite. Let's take note of this. Host, living. It should be a living organism harboring the parasite. So the host provide nourishment and shelter for the parasite. So the reason why the parasite is there is because it wants its nourishment and shelter. Then We saw this earlier when we have some type of hosts that we call carriers. That means they harbor the parasite within them. Then they help the parasite to move from one person to another. That type of transmission is what we call the horizontal transmission. Now, what I asked you to read on, protozoans. They are one-celled organisms and they are parasitic in nature. So they are able to multiply in humans. Therefore, as they are deriving their shelter and nourishment from humans, their activities and inactivities leaves debris. And this debris causes serious issue for the human being. So that issue is what we are calling the infection. Now, those of such protozoans that live in the intestine of the human being, the only way through which they can be transmitted from one host to another is through fecal-oral routes. Those that live in the blood or tissue, they require another host, which is arthropod. Arthropod as a vector to pick them from the original host to another. So for example, mosquito coming for blood meal, picking gametocytes to go and then fertilize its eggs, and then the next feed injecting sporozoites. We'll see that later. Now, first of all, protozoans are grouped into three on the basis of their shape or movement, and then the presence of cilia or flagellates or flagella. So those that move with their body, like amoeba, SHS, we group them under Sarcodina. The mastigophorans are those with flagellates or flagella. So example is the Giardia and then Leishmania. Then we also have those with cilia, as I said. Example is the Balantidium. Then we have the Sporozoa. For them, their adult stage, they are not able to move. So example is Plasmodium and then Cryptosporidium. Now, taking our first example, it's a member histolytica. It exists in several forms. The first we're talking about is trophozoites. This is the feeding stage of the parasites. And then when a cyst is formed around it, then we have the infectious state, which we can also call the cyst stage of the parasite. So as you can see in this slide,
Madam, I can hear you.
I'm sending the link now. Go down.
hello.
Hi, madam.
Madam, we are here.
Sorry, then the network got interrupted. I was giving. Oh,
Okay.
okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay.
Sure, madam.
Okay.
But we can't see the slides.
You can see the slide.
No, madam.
Yes, madam.
off.
Okay, I'm trying to share the slide. The network is. Nat, your topics, you get the topics, relax.
Since we have like 4 minutes for the first 40 minutes to run out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to share the slide.
Okay.
Madam, please relax. We are here for you.
Idol, you have raised your hand. Unmute yourself and talk. Idol S13.
Madam, let's continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening. Idol S13.
Okay, Madam, if
The person is not even with us.
Itel is not talking, I want to ask a question.
Okay.
You said something about free living. You said, where is it, Cry? You said these parasites, some of them are free living. Please, I don't understand that part.
Free living.
Yeah.
As we saw earlier on.
The protozoa.
Yes. So some can live without their host, or some requires the host. As we saw earlier, the obligate and then the facultative. Have you forgotten?
No, Madam.
Okay. So that is, so it can either be facultative or it can be obligate.
Okay.
So another term for facultative is the free living.
Yeah, the explanation.
Explanation to the okay.
So it's just like definition of term.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So we are saying that the cyst is the infective form of the parasite. Please, let's take note of this. The cyst is the infective form of E. histolytica. Why? Because it has a lot of virulence factors. The cyst itself is a virulence factor because of the presence of the cyst. And when you ingest it within the stomach, we know the stomach pH is acidic, right?
Yes.
But to an analytical science is supposed to digest it. The protozoa, in this case, E. histolytica. But for the fact that it has the cyst protects it. So it can't, the acid does not have any impact on it unless it moves down to the lower part of the ileum and then towards the duodenum, where the pH over there changes because of the production of bicarbonate. So once the pH changes, we will say that once the pH changes, it facilitates the release or the breakdown of the cyst. So we see that later on. So, okay, this is what I was explaining. When a mature cyst reaches there, so first of all, the mode of transmission is through fecal oral routes. So if you ingest food that contains the cyst of E. histolytica, it goes through to the stomach for the food to digest. Because of the presence of the acidic nature of the stomach, it can't release its contents over there. But when it moves downwards towards the